1. Paradox at the pinnacle. Quick thought experiment. Imagine a guard who finishes top 5 all-time in both assists and steals, lands on 9 all-defensive teams, keeps his turnovers so low you'd need tweezers to find them, then sprinkles in 11 all-star nods for good measure. Logic says that resume crowns him a first-ballot entry in any greatest point guard debate. Reality? Chris Paul's name barely cracks the podium. The rings column mocks him with a stubborn 0, and bar-stool historians point to a reel of gut-punch exits as proof that fireworks without confetti don't sway legacy voters. Yet here we are in July 2025. Paul, freshly turned 40, just finished an 82-game Ironman season mentoring Victor Wembanyama in San Antonio. He now sits in free agency limbo while the Bucks, Clippers, and a Hollywood-hungry Lakers front office audition their championship speeches. The same pundits who wrote his eulogy 2 summers ago suddenly whisper, "What if he finally gets one?" Greatness, it turns out, isn't a tidy spreadsheet. To grasp why the point god's legend feels forever loading, we need to trace the flame that forged him. That spark was struck long before NBA hardwood, back in a North Carolina service station. Chris Emmanuel Paul grew up inhaling motor oil and competition. When he wasn't quarterbacking Pop Warner or captaining every pickup run in Winston-Salem, he pumped gas at Papa Chile's black-owned service station, learning early that leadership starts with elbow grease. Papa Chile, a towering blend of discipline and warmth, became Paul's life compass. November 15, 2002 shattered that compass. While unloading groceries, Nathaniel Papa Chile Jones was attacked in a botched robbery and died of a heart attack brought on by his injuries. 17-year-old Chris turned raw grief into impossible resolve, score 1 point for every year of his grandfather's life. 2 nights later, he torched Parkland High for 61 points, intentionally bricked the bonus free throw, then walked off the floor, sobbing into his jersey. Local headlines hailed a folk hero. College recruiters saw titanium wiring. The lesson stuck: pain can be fuel, and pain would visit often. At Wake Forest, Paul bent ACC defenses like origami. 14.8 points, 5.9 assists, nearly 3 steals a night as a freshman. By year 2, he was punching tickets to Sweet 16s and dropping 6.5 dimes a game while leading the nation in pestering on-ball pressure. A cheap shot groin punch on NC State's Julius Hodge revealed the flip side of that competitive combustion. CP's halo came wired with horns. Scouts didn't blink. They loved their prodigies fiery. Draft night 2005 confirmed it. 4th overall to a struggling New Orleans roster that prayed for relevance. Paul turned that prayer into science. He nearly swept the Rookie of the Year votes, dragged a 20-win skeleton squad to 38 victories, and announced the arrival of a new conductor who never missed a beat. Year 3, 21 points, league-leading dimes and steals, and an MVP runner-up finish to Kobe Bryant. But basketball gods speak in riddles. His Hornets ran smack into the Spurs, lost a Game 7 fistfight, and New Orleans ownership began mapping exit strategies. That turbulence would ripple into the most infamous veto in league history. December 8, 2011, ESPN's ticker explodes. Paul to the Lakers in a 3-team blockbuster. Kobe, CP, and a reinvented Mike D'Antoni offense. Showtime sequel, greenlit. Then Commissioner David Stern, acting as de facto owner of the league-run Hornets, rips the film out of the projector. Basketball reasons. In 4 words, Stern flips futures for the Lakers, Rockets, and most of all, Paul. 4 nights later, the Clippers swoop in, offering a younger package and an unwitting name for highlight history: Lob City. The basketball reasons? A trampoline-legged Blake Griffin, a pogo stick DeAndre Jordan, and the best table setter on earth. Social feeds ignite with poster dunks, Staples Center buzzes like it hasn't since Shaq plus Kobe. But highlights don't bend destiny on their own. Paul's prime seasons in LA played like symphonies for 3 quarters and horror flicks in the 4th. He ranked top 3 in offensive rating, led the league in steals 4 straight years, and dissected defenses with elbow jumpers so automatic teammates coined it the CP zone. Off the court, he chaired the NBPA, fronted State Farm campaigns, and hosted HBCU tours, leadership spilling far beyond hardwood. Yet the playoffs kept turning into Greek tragedies. 2014, with 17 seconds left in Game 5 against OKC, Paul coughs up a live ball turnover, then fouls Westbrook on a desperation 3. Series flipped, reputation dented. 2015, up 19 in the 3rd against Houston, the Clippers watch an unholy 40-5 run vaporize their surest path to the conference finals. Fans still call it the night the rim shrunk. Meanwhile, the Donald Sterling racism scandal detonates mid-series. Players nearly boycott. Paul spearheads the silent protest of stripping warm-ups mid-court. They win that series, lose the war. By 2016, injuries pile up, locker room trust frays, and the most exhilarating show in the league is suddenly off Broadway. When GM Doc Rivers trades for his son Austin, message boards howl that nepotism has replaced title ambition. Turning 32 and no closer to a ring, Paul signs off on a new script. Houston pairs him with James Harden, and skeptics predict ball dominance gridlock. Instead, CP embraces split-duty genius. He handles early quarters, Harden hammers closing time. The 2018 Rockets bury analytic styles. 65 wins, top 6 all-time in net rating, and a historic barrage of threes. Against Kevin Durant's Avengers lineup, they seize a 3-2 edge in the West Finals. 41 seconds left, Game 5, Houston up 3. Paul pulls up for the vintage right elbow banker, and his hamstring detonates. Season over. Warriors take Game 6 and 7. Twitter threads mourn what might have been. It's the closest Paul ever gets to the mountaintop, and it ends with an ice pack the size of Texas. A year later, the Rockets fall in 6. Locker room whispers claim CP and Harden are oil and water, and GM Daryl Morey flips Paul for Russell Westbrook. The return on that gamble still haunts Houston's payroll. For Paul, it births a personal renaissance. Oklahoma City inherits a 34-year-old worst contract in basketball. Paul treats it like a science project. He mentors Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, commandeers late-game offense with surgical calm, and registers the best clutch time net rating in the league. A ragtag unit Vegas pegged for 25 wins storms to a 5th seed. Inside the Orlando bubble, CP savors the irony of facing Harden's Rockets. In Game 6, he pours in 15 fourth-quarter points to force a decider, then posts a triple-double in Game 7 that falls inches short. Even in defeat, perception flips. He's reviving franchises, not draining them. The phone lines light up. Phoenix trades for him, betting veteran gravity will accelerate Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. That pays instantly, 51 wins in a 72-game slate. Then a bullet train playoff march. Lakers toppled. Thanks, AD injury. Nuggets swept. Clippers nipped. For the first time in 16 seasons, the point god steps onto a finals floor. Games 1 and 2, Paul looks ageless, 55% shooting, mid-range daggers, Suns up 2-0. But Drew Holiday's 100-foot harassment and Giannis's physics-bending 50-burger erase the lead. And the dream. Milwaukee hoists, Phoenix cries, and CP walks into his presser, voice barely above a whisper. I'm addicted to this. I'll be back. Addictions can be cruel. The 2022 Suns win 64 games, yet implode in the 33-point Game 7 faceplant versus Luka Doncic. In 2023, a groin tweak neuters him. The 2024 Warriors rent him as a second-unit oracle, then waive his non-guaranteed year. Critics declare the candle finally snuffed. Paul answers with an 82-game encore for San Antonio. 7.4 assists, 37.7% from deep, and mentorship that fast-tracks Wembanyama's Rookie of the Year coronation. Suddenly, July 2025 features a 40-year-old free agent who can still orchestrate winning basketball in 28 smart minutes a night. Paul's camp insists on 3 things: A real shot at a ring, a defined role, underscore preferably starting, and geographic comfort for his family. Milwaukee dangles a vet minimum slot plus the promise of nightly pick and rolls with Giannis. The Clippers tempt with a Hollywood homecoming and Steve Ballmer's blank checkbook. Dark Horse Phoenix eyes a reunion if it can shed cap ballast. Every path offers fresh narrative kindling. Signs with Bucks, he joined the very superstar who blocked his ring in 2021. Clippers, full circle redemption, take the franchise he once lifted from punchline to promised land. Stays in San Antonio, embrace mentor mode, skip the ring chase, earn icon status for shepherding Wemby into superstardom. Each choice risks its own brand of heartbreak, but Paul's career has never ducked risk. Only injuries and destiny have slowed him. Remove jewelry from the algorithm, and the resume screams top 3. No guard in history pairs Paul's surgical offense with his defensive havoc. Period. Stockton owns more assists, but triple the turnovers. Magic dazzled brighter, yet never sniffed 9 all-defensive plaques. Isaiah wielded rings, but shot 10 points lower from deep and piled up giveaways. So why the hesitation to crown him? Because championships remain the sport's final handshake, and fair or not, Paul's palm is still empty. In many of his darkest playoff nights, he performed brilliantly for 44 minutes, then one turnover or one pulled hamstring rewrote the final stanza. History rarely prints context in bold, yet there's an emerging school of thought, call it nuance culture, arguing that rings are a noisy judge of an individual in a 5-man ballet. They point to Paul's 24-2 record when leading a series 2-0 until the 21 finals, to his league record 6 seasons topping the steals chart, to the way every franchise he joins instantly vaults in ball movement metrics. Blame the injuries, blame bad timing, blame the veto, but don't blame the skill set. If he retires tomorrow, his blueprint already shapes a generation of guards obsessed with deceleration, mid-range geometry, and turnover-averse creation. If he secures a last dance ring, the narrative flips from undersized overachiever to undisputed top 3. Either outcome enlarges his legend. Neither erases the 2 decades of proof on tape. Chris Paul built a career out of probing defenses until they surrendered the angle he wanted. Facing the final screen of his career, he's once again reading options, waiting for the seam. Whether the next move ends in champagne or a quiet press release, the story already bends toward immortality. Maybe not the loud, banner-hanging kind, but the kind that lives in every perfect pocket pass a teenager tries on a blacktop at dusk. Legacy, like Paul himself, favors the meticulous. And meticulous stories often save the best twist for last. So don't blink. The point god still has 24 seconds on the shot clock.